Hello, everybody. Today is, it's November 11th, 2023. For those of you around the world that aren't aware, today is Veterans Day in the United States. And I would like to take this opportunity not only talking to the veterans of the United States, but also talking to the veterans that I have fought with, the veterans that I have fought against, as well as the people of the world that I fought for, and the people of the world that have had their own inner battles, whether they have worked in law enforcement or whether simply had mental health issues or domestic violence or whatever. So, anybody, and in essence, everybody, that has truly struggled in life. The veterans that have done things that are imaginable simply out of grace for other people, even people that they don't even know. I salute you. The veterans that I have fought against, whether it be because I'm a veteran for Ukraine and I'm a veteran for the United States. So whether it be Russian veterans, whether it be, when I was in Saudi Arabia, whether it doesn't matter what nationality you are, what side of the border you're on. I salute you from my heart because I know that within your illusion, you are doing or you have done what your brain tells you is right. When I was in Ukraine, absolutely horrendous. And at the time, I saw things and had to do things that honestly I didn't even want to continue living for because it felt wrong to such a deep level. And then when I came back from Ukraine, or in essence, back from the Gulf War as well, honestly, it felt like nobody understood. Nobody could comprehend what I had gone through. And unfortunately, the brain, my illusion, told me that it boiled down that nobody really cared. And I understand anybody in the world that has gone through this issue, whether it has been through combat or whether it's simply been through your own poor choices. I understand. The victims of this world at one point or another could be viewed as every single one of us. Because the truth is, every single one of us are fighting our own battle. It doesn't matter what country you're in, whether you're for the government, against the government, whether you're in the military, a civilian, none of it matters. If you listen to all the stories, the religious stories, if you will, all of them basically tell you the same thing when it comes down to it. The Jesus story tells you to love your enemy even that much more. All you have to do is simply listen to it. And I have listened to all the religious stories. And that's why I know my purpose. I know my purpose because I am fully awake. I am nothing special. Be perfectly honest with you, I am no more than the people that I have seen all around the world living in horrendous environments. I actually feel closer to them than I have to other people of the world. I want to tell you a little story that's happened this morning, actually about 2 hours ago. I'm those of you who have been following along. I'm in Angeles, Philippines, right by where Clark Air Base used to be. And I went this morning to go get some breakfast. And they have a huge mall. I mean, gigantic, bigger than I've ever seen in the U.S. I don't know for sure. Maybe I have seen some bigger ones, but point being, it's huge, and it's chuck packed of locals. And I'm walking along, just checking everything out to see what I want to eat. And I come across the table with these old salty dogs. I mean, there was 5 or 6 U.S. veterans, and I could see by their hats, I knew that there was at least one person from each branch. And these old birds were obviously close to the end of their journey. And since it being Veterans Day, I had to stop. And I put my hand on the shoulder of this gentleman that retired from the Navy. And for you, I apologize for spooking you, taking some of your energy. We got a good laugh out of it when I touched him. But I talked with them for about 10 minutes. I kneeled down on the ground next to them. And to give you an idea, um, what condition they were in, the person that I spoke, he was wearing oxygen. He's in a wheelchair, edemic in both ankles, I mean, severely. His mask that he was wearing, like coronavirus mask or whatever you want to call it, you could see a little bit of blood seeping through it. So this man he's lived majority of his journey. And all his acquaintances that were sitting at the table with him weren't far behind. I asked, on average, they got out of the military in 1980. And I shared with them what I'm doing. I shared with them, my recent time in Ukraine and how it changed me. It made me wake up and made me realize I'm done with the lies of the world. And then, my family also helped me wake up and realize that I'm done lying to myself. I'm done feeling sorry for myself, feeling like nobody cared. Because the truth is, nobody in this world will care the way you feel they should care. And that's because nobody in the world can possibly comprehend your perception of everything you have gone through. Nobody can possibly truly love you the way you feel you deserve to be loved unless you are fully conscious and capable of truly loving yourself. And anyway, getting back to the story with the retired gentleman, as I'm sharing with them, and keep in mind I'm kneeled down on the ground, just having an intimate conversation with them. And I didn't mention anything religious at all because I found that tends to shut down the average illusion if they disagree whatsoever. And I don't want to try to force my opinion on anybody because it's not my place. It's not my place to judge. But when I shared with them that I sold my business, sold my paid off home, got rid of every ounce of everything, and I've been traveling around the world giving love and any help I can to the people that need it most. One of the old farts, if you will, I can say that because fellow veteran. But one of them, he looked at me, and I noticed he had a tear rolling down his face, and he said to me, "You finally found your God, didn't you?" And then he proceeded to explain that he also refuses to accept the negative in the world. Now, granted, this is a man that the quality of his life, from a physical perspective, is really poor. But yet, he knows in his heart the exact same thing I know. And as him and I continued to talk, I happened to glance around the table, and I noticed that everyone at the table was fighting to keep back tears. And one of the other gentlemen said, "The time's getting close, isn't it?" And I looked down and I said, "What, what do you mean exactly by that?" He said, "You know exactly what I mean by it." He said, "Because obviously you're connected." And I just looked at him and I said, "Yes, with my whole being." I believe that we have finally approached the point where if we're not careful, all the stories are going to start coming true. And everyone at the table shook their head. Everyone at the table, by this point, had some tears running down their face. And keep in mind, we're in the middle of this mall with thousands of locals walking around, bumping into us and stuff. And we had such a deep connection that I honestly don't know if any of us even thought about where we were at. All we thought about was the moment we were experiencing at that time. And as I was leaving there, every single one of them gave me a hug. Every single one of them saluted me. Um, I didn't salute back other than this is my salute anymore. Because I honestly just want to love everybody. And I honestly just want everybody to start loving themselves and start respecting that life is brutal. Life is demonistic within the illusion that all of us have our own battles that we're struggling with. But I know that if you choose to continue to give love, if you choose to push through it, you will realize how what you went through was so worth it. Now, granted, my head isn't in the clouds. I mean, well, it kind of looks like it is with my background. But I'm realistic. I know that there are a large percentage of us in the world that will never choose to only accept the positive. It saddens me tremendously. I am trying to do everything in my power to possibly change that. If you think that I'm doing this out of publicity or out of popularity, look at me. Really, what am I trying to gain? I'm not even trying to advertise. Majority of people don't even know my name. Out of all the gentlemen that were sitting there, not a single one knew my name. And what's funny is it was right in front of them. But I don't care where you are in the world. I don't care what side of the war you're on, where you're battling, whether you're an anti-war protester, whether you're giving peace demonstrations, whether you're giving, resistance demonstrations. We are all the same. It's just every single one of us have a little bit different perspective of exact same thing taking place. So please, for every single person in the world that has risked their life, every single person in the world that has died to try to defend the innocent or tried to defend what they believed was innocent, what they believed was right. And even the mercenaries, we hear so much about this Wagner group and how horrendous they are. Every single one of you guys, please step back today and just try to love your fellow human. I don't care what your religious beliefs are or whether or not you have any religious beliefs, because hey, I get that too. I mean, sure, I refer to religion just to help communicate clearly what I am trying to express. But I know that every single religion has a tremendous amount of truths in it. This is why so many people believe in it for such a long period of time. I also know that every religion has a certain percentage of non-truths because they were all written from people's perspective that were not fully conscious. People's brains illusion that was always looking at the negative instead of obsessing about all the positive that came from each experience. It's the truth of the matter. And the crazy thing is nobody in the world can prove what I am saying not to be true. I mean, when I've said that, hey, I believe Jesus Christ's story, I know that, hey, what he's saying is kind of your instruction manual on how to find God within you. I've also said that the only thing I know that he wasn't totally conscious. He wasn't fully finished with his purpose yet. And he spoke to me by the very last thing he said right before he died on the cross. You don't know what it was? Look it up. Listen to it. Listen to your Bibles, whatever they are. Listen to your religious manuals. Don't read them. Don't have somebody else tell you what they are. And please Just find the love in your heart. And I assure you, if you choose to give love and ask nothing in return to the person who has done the absolute worst thing in the world to you, simply because you forgive them, I assure you it's going to start changing your life. And you're going to start feeling something inside you that chances are you've never felt before in your life. Because, trust me, I've had those moments nonstop ever since I started this channel. But I hope everybody has an amazing Veterans Day, whether you're American or not. You know, I, for me, in my mind, in my heart, I will be meditating, praying, whatever you want to call it, a lot today, just hoping that all the love within each person's heart can be rekindled and we can learn how to even love our enemy. You know, I'm not going to name any countries that are at war right now, and how I hope all of us can just stop for 1 second and realize we all believe what we are doing is right. Majority of us in the world have zero desire to be who we are. And when I say majority of us, the ones who are happy with who they are, they're either, you know, still in a pipe dream, or they've truly started to wake up. But I want to keep repeating myself. I will end this video for now, but to every single person in the world that's battled any type of inner battle or war, I love you. Those that I've battled against, I forgive you, and I hope that you can forgive me. I love you guys. Talk to you later. Bye.